Hello, everyone. We're here in Orlando, Florida. We're here with Sandy Carter of Amazon. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And yesterday you were talking about differentiation to innovation, and you had a lot of great stuff in there. Can we do a summary of what's in it for startups and how can they partner with Amazon and scale up and maybe give us a couple examples?
Yeah, that's great. So we talked yesterday about 4 things that you needed to do around differentiation for innovation. The first was around how do you experiment? That's a great place for startups because startups are always doing experiments, trying things and working with customers. The second thing we talked about was scale up, which is one of the places where Amazon can really help and support our partners, is to help them figure out how to grow up and how to be that bigger company. The third thing that we talked about is customer obsession, which we know 80% of startups today spend time with their customers most of the time. So customer obsession is really about figuring out what your customers want and embedding that into the technology. And then last but not least, we talked a little bit about the technology. And there's another place that Amazon can help. We have a startup program that can help our startups get going on AWS and using that great technology, especially around machine learning, artificial intelligence, and IoT, of course.
Great, thank you, which is our area of focus. So I'm going to pick up a little bit on the innovation. So one of the saying from Salim Ismail of Singularity University says, if you try to innovate in large companies, its immune system will eat you alive. and maybe, obviously, Amazon is a very successful company. What are some of the things that you think you're doing much different than others that you're not basically absorbing those startups into the branding police might come after them and so on?
Well, I think a couple of the things that we do really well is we create our own small teams, almost like a startup within a startup. We call that the 2 pizza team, where what we do is we form a size of a team where if you have to work late, then you can only consume 2 pizzas. It empowers the team, gives it a lot of autonomy. And so what that is, it's like having a ton of little startups inside of a big company. The second thing I think that we do really well, like our startup fellows, are obsess over the customer. So there was a study that showed that startups spend 80% of their time with customers, 20% of their time internally. Large companies spend 20% of their time with customers and 80% of their time internally. Amazon is like a startup. We spend a lot of time with customers. In fact, one of my first services, I talked to 140 customers and partners, really understanding what they want. And that was just me. That wasn't my whole team as well. So I think there's a lot of things that we do that are like a startup. We're like a startup inside of a big company.
Got it. Thank you. So now I've seen Amazon present everywhere. I've seen them at Hanover Messe. So you're in manufacturing around everywhere. Give us, how do you get started? Let's say if you're a startup and you have artificial intelligence that may help a manufacturer, how do you get started with Amazon? What are the steps? What are the criteria? What's the, I guess, how do you feed them into, what are the things that they need to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things we have is we have a startup program, and that program runs around the world. So, for example, my team was just in Bahrain, which is like Silicon Valley of the Middle East, and we helped startups with free Amazon credits so they could start with the technology. And we help them do some of the working backwards sessions, which helps them figure out how to go to market with the new technology, their new solution, whatever they have to focus in on. So I would say that would be the first place that I would get started, is to look at that startup program that we have. Now, if the startup is a B2C versus B2B, we also have a program called Launchpad. And in Launchpad, as a B2C, we help you step through how to get your consumer product online in the Amazon ecosystem, if you would. Big Amazon, not Amazon Web Services. So those are the 2 programs that I would use if you're a startup.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.